energy. Living legends are reaching me. Sharing knowledge with you and me. Teaching us how to lead with Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee. On the run. Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee. On the run. Yeah. Keep on building that synergy. One blood that on you and me. Keep on building that synergy. One blood that on you and me. Keep on building that synergy. One blood that on you.
Happy Friday.
Keep on building that synergy.
Time to have some fun. Hello, and happy Friday, everyone. I am so excited. You know, we got some smarts and beauty going up in here. No, I'm not talking me, but okay, anyway. Happy Friday, November 7th, 2025. Welcome back to the third season of the second episode of the Sharon Lee Briefing podcast show. So, guys, you know, we've been doing this for a while now, and we just love sharing our legacy stories with our community nationwide and globally. But I wanted to say, guys, before I get started, y'all know me, you know I like to have fun. So this is going to be a fun, it's going to be an engaging, and it's going to be an educational podcast, okay? Fun, engaging, and educational. But I want to, before I even jump into everything, I just want to thank our team, as always, Crystal Glenn, Smart Video Girl, for always serving as our engineering on the Sharon Lee Briefing podcast show, always showing up, making us look professional and adding value to what we do behind the scenes and also on screen. I also want to thank Sean Parker, who always set up my lights so I can look professionally. So thank you, Sean. And no other than Dana Parker. I want to thank her for our theme song, which is Sharon Lee. Now, y'all know I'm branding my third season as Synergy Girl, right? Synergy Girl means, building and connecting and making unlimited connections to those in the community who has a legacy story. So we're going to be having a new theme song. I'm not going to tell you when, so just keep on coming back, but it's going to be geared around unlimited connection and Synergy Girl. But right now is Sharon Lee on the run. Sharon Lee doesn't run from opportunity. Sharon Lee runs to opportunities, okay? So if you want to know about Sharon Parker, Synergy Girl, and Sharon Lee, you're going to learn about it here on the Sharon Lee Briefing podcast show. I'd like to also, thank our guests. Thank you. So many people I'm going to have introduce themselves to you all later in the show because, guys, one of the things I've always shared with you, we can't do this thing alone. And this is the reason why we do the word and we promote the word synergy. Synergy means that when we all work collectively together, then we are able to add value. So with that being said, let's jump into some administrative actions for the podcast. If you all are commenting over on Facebook, if you're commenting over on YouTube, please share your name. Ask as many questions as you can. Make some as many comments as you can. Leave some words of encouragement, motivational words, in the comments. But most importantly, ask questions. So you know the rundown of the podcast. This is pretty simple, guys. We've been doing it for 3 seasons now. We start with introducing our guests. We have her he or her just do a little snippet about who she is and who they are, and then I'll get into the question and answer. We will also be sharing our community. We're going to all the supporters that have supported Rosa, my organization, over the last, 18, 19 years now. I want to just have them just pop in at a time and just say who they are and then, tell them how they supported us, and we'll deal with that in another segment. I also like to share that we're going to be sharing some synergy moves from the West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, all over the country. This young lady is going to blow your mind. She is the real smarts and beauty behind her brand, and I can't wait to introduce her to you. But before we do that, I just want to repeat, Please, if you're commenting over on Facebook, please put your name in your comments. If you're commenting over there on YouTube, which is the Leading Within with Sharon Lee, please comment and put your name in that as well. With that being said, I'm going to now bring up our wonderful guest, Precious.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning, beautiful. How are you?
I'm really, really good. I'm so excited to be here this morning. This is such an honor and like a full circle moment. And yeah, I'm excited. This is my very first official interview, I want to say, and
Oh, wow. I am surprised of that. This is the next generation that's making some power moves out there, and people have been missing you. What are they doing? All right, well, let's just get in. Let's give people a little feel about who you are. Now, I'm on the East Coast, you're on the West Coast. Make us feel where you are. Give us a little information about you.
About me, where I am.
Yes, you, your family, where you are, where you're from, all of that wonderful stuff.
So I am from California by way of San Francisco. My mother's side of the family is right here from San Francisco, California. My grandmother, if you're familiar, she lives in the brick homes in Sunnydale. She's been there my entire life. My great grandmother used to live on Scott and Waller, which is in the Haight-Ashbury district of San Francisco, closer to the Fillmore district. And when about third grade, my mom moved to Oakland, and we always lived like by Lake Merritt. My mother loved that neighborhood. And from third grade on, I went to school in Oakland, California, and ended up graduating high school at Oakland Tech back in 1999. So I say I'm from the Bay Area, but also I was born in Washington, D.C., right? Because that's where my father is from, my East Coast family, and all my people over there. But when I was about one, my mom moved back to California. So when I meet new people, I tell them I'm from the Bay Area, but because depending on who knows me, someone may say I'm from San Francisco or Oakland, but I am really from San Francisco. So yes, now I reside in Antioch, California, which is, I don't know, about 40 minutes outside of the city. And I've been here for 15 years.
Wow.
Yes, I bought my very first home here back in 2010 as a first-time home buyer. When things had crashed, and I raised my 3 beautiful children here. So that's where I'm from.
Oh my God, you look like, I don't understand how you can be looking so beautiful, and you talk about what? But you bought your home in 2020 or 2010?
2010, actually.
That's how many years ago? That's 15 years ago.
Yes,
wow, girl, you don't look no more than 15 yourself.
Thank you. Well, I gotta thank my mother, those good genes,
Oh my God. See, God, look, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Don't believe the hype out there, what they say about what our next generation is not doing. Because our next generation are out there making some legacy moves, right? And it's all about identifying who they are. Let me just, before I even jump into this, I'm gonna give you a gift, sweetheart, because it's nothing like talking to people about who individuals are out there that's making some legacy move. But when they can see it, visually, it may bring another hype to it. So I want to ask our engineer if she could share a legacy gift that I like to always give all my podcast guests. So if y'all want y'all legacy story told, this is what you're going to get. But I want to give you, Precious, your gift now.
Thank you.
All right, all right, all right. How did you like that?
I need a Kleenex.
Oh
Thank
no.
you. Thank you. That was so nice.
I'm so glad you liked it. We get the same reaction with all our guests. They're like, "Oh my God, you're just telling our story," and that's what it's really all about, the legacy story. So, when I look at your credentials, I got so many questions to ask you. But look, we only got an hour show. But
Okay.
I need to know. I want the world to know. I want the world to know about Precious, um, who she was as a little girl, what were her dreams, how did she overcome challenges, how did she achieve the success that you succeeded in your lifetime. So I just want to just start off by saying, early on in your life, your defining moments of your life. Before I even go into the exact question, just give me a little understanding what that may have looked like for you in your early life as you were growing up in California.
Well, I am an only child. I'm my mother's only child. And I've always been extremely independent, even as a young girl. I can remember at the age of 5 riding public transportation to Golden Gate Park and the Boys and Girls Club. And my mother always kind of put a lot of responsibility on me. Now in my life, I'm extremely grateful for that. But as a kid, I've always been tall. I'm 6 feet. I've always been slim. I had buck teeth, and I was just skinny. People used to tease me, they would bully me, call me names, giraffe, toothpick, olive oil.
Oh.
But the thing about me and about my mother is she always instilled self-confidence in me. She built me up to a point where I was impenetrable and I knew who I was. So, as a young girl, I was just, a regular kid trying to have fun. We ride bikes and stuff, but I would say I was independent. I was kind of a latchkey kid. I would be home by myself. I would do my homework on my own. I'd, cook my own meals and things like that. Yeah, and we had a good childhood. We didn't have cell phones and things like that. It's kind of amazing how I was just thinking about it. Like, I'm on the bus, I'm 5 years old, going from city to city, like no cell phone. But that's just how things were. So, also, faith and spirituality has been a big factor in my entire life. My great grandmother, rest her soul, Olivia Herndon. I spent lots of time with her, and we would go to church every Sunday. She was an usher at Providence Baptist Church on 3rd Street. And I would come with her every Sunday, and we'd be up in there. And those are my fondest memories of my great grandmother. She also was a big family person. She would have Sunday dinners every Sunday and every Wednesday for the whole family. She would take people in, but just her strength and her, you know, making sure we all came together no matter what, really set the tone for my family here on the West Coast. And even for me, like a lot of things that I do, I always remember my great grandmother and what she would do, or how she would love on us and things like that. So yeah, that was pretty much my childhood. I was just the only child, kind of a sore thumb. I would stick out a little bit. But yeah, it was.
Well, thank you for sharing that. So, guys, let me just tell you a little story about this young lady. Uh, I met her for the first time in Washington, D.C., and she may have been 7 years old. And I'm going to tell you guys, I've never seen a young person with so much energy in my life. This baby would, I mean, and she loved to dance. She was dancing like a professional dancer. And I'm like, how did you learn those moves, young lady? Whatever it was, I just fell so head over heels in love with you at that moment, because you were just this big, wonderful, happy no matter
Mhm.
what was going on in the world, ball of energy. And you're still that same way. No matter what goes on in your life, no matter what goes on around you, every time I see you either on social media, educating people about real estate, educating people about, how to have proper content when they understand how to promote themselves, you got that same fireball energy. So that's a synergy moment for me, just to be able to come back so many years later and say, I want to highlight a little girl that I saw years ago, not letting anything stand in her way. So I want to say kudos to you on what you're doing, but I want to get into some of the give people your title and what company you work with.
Okay, so I say I'm a businesswoman. I say I'm an entrepreneur because, I have many skills, many talents people don't know about, but currently you can call me a realtor, a realtist, a real estate agent, a real estate professional consultant, aka problem solver. That is what I do. I currently hang my license at EXP Realty. Yes, so that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay. You also you're a notary, a public notary, right?
Yes, I'm a mobile notary. I started a mobile notary business back in 2013. Um, yes, I'm also a
Wow.
doorman. It's another thing that I have. It's there. It's a blessing. I'm a casual there. I'm in the, and I'm just a businesswoman. So when opportunities come my way, yeah, I try to take advantage of those things.
Awesome, awesome. So Precious, one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you because it's something that stood out in a lot of your videos that I see on either Facebook, that I see either on Instagram, and it's always talking about building legacy for those who have that don't have, and you do that in the housing industry. Kind of give the audience a little background about how and why you want to do this and why you've been doing this. First of all, tell them how many years you've been doing it again, and then tell them what's your goal, your passion for doing this.
So honestly, I began in this industry in 2003. Okay. So
Mm.
a little over 20 years ago, I started as a loan officer and a mortgage broker. And this was before the market crashed, right? And what happened was it really opened my mind to the real estate industry and how you can create unlimited wealth, unlimited earning potential. And there's so many different avenues within real estate that you can pursue with a niche. And so I love challenges and I get bored often. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is a way to create financial freedom, to build legacy, to have something truly tangible. And then when I learned how to do these things, I'm like, my community, most people I speak to believe that this is like some dream or fantasy that is not obtainable. And that is so far from the truth. So once I learned the code of how to get people in and get them into ownership, I'm like, I have to show my community because this is how we bridge the gap, the wealth gap in our community, and so many other issues, that we have financially um, in our community. And I just saw real estate as a gateway to really changing my life, my family's lives, and my community's life. And so that is the reason why I'm so passionate about it, because not only for my customers, but for myself, this is my way out. You know what I mean?
I
So
hear you. So thank you for sharing that. So guys, I hope you all are feeling this interview because the synergy moment again here for me is I work in the government industry, and I work for the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And when I started working there, what almost 40 years ago now, I can feel what Precious is saying because I got into an upward mobility program when I first became a professional. And one of the first places I was able to go was San Francisco. So I went to San Francisco to work in the Department of Housing and Urban Development field office for about a week. I had a ball, guys. I had a ball. But one day I said, you know what? I'm going to go on over to Oakland, to see what's happening in Oakland. Because I knew, of course, Wanda, your mom, and
Mhm.
everything. I said, I'm going to go meet her. So I get on the train. I'm a young little girl. I may have been 34 years old or whatever. That's still young. But anyway, I get on a train and I go to Oakland, California. And guess who was the first giant I ran into? The first giant I ran into was Precious. Had I had never been to Oakland a day in my life. I get off the train, try to go to, I guess your mom was working at some type of shop in Oakland at that time.
She
And I
owned the shop. We owned that business.
See, and I ran into you and I was like, Precious? I'm like, Precious? I was scared, but I was like, Precious. And she was like, I'm Sharon. So cat's on the bag. But anyway, and we just had a ball.
Yeah.
So, just bringing this thing back home, the synergy here is we definitely want to help people. We
Yeah.
want people to build legacy. We don't want you all to believe in the hype to say that, this is not obtainable.
Yes.
We got you got some wonderful people on the call,
Yeah.
making comments. Your auntie,
Love
Abba,
you.
who's there. You got Dr. Kane, I saw pop up and everything. Guys, y'all, thank y'all for being here because, this is really what it's all about. When things are being taken away from us and everything, we got to find ways to get it back. So one
That's
of the things I wanted to show was this little CD that I had, Black
mhm.
Wall Street. Black Wall Street, guys, is happening right now in our
Absolutely.
community. And don't you think it's not? So don't think that just because this government is doing what they're doing, that you don't have young people like my girl Precious out there making some legacy moves and others that I know who's out there making legacy moves. So guys, before we go on with the interview, I'm going to ask our engineer, Chris, if she could show our promo synergy video. And the reason why I want her to show this video, because guys, we've been making connections here at Rosa, at the Leading Within platform, at Synergy Girl, Sharon Lee, however we decide to brand ourselves, we have been making connections with those in the community, and we're going to keep on making the connections because our ultimate goal is to share your synergy, your legacy story, like we're sharing Precious. So, Chris, if you could bring that up, please. Thank you, Chris. So all of those wonderful people, you all may even seen yourself in some of those pictures of those who are out there watching. You notice my book was shared.
Yes.
True Synergy Work,
Yes.
Leading Within, the
Yes.
7 defining principles of knowing yourself to birth greatness. Why
Yes.
did I share that book? Because guys, you have to tell your family stories. When
Yes.
that book was released in 2017, intentional, guys. It was intentional because it talks about my family in Calvert County, Maryland, who got those 40 acres and a mule. And yes, we kept most of it, but we build on it. We build homes on it. We are still working to build more homes on it. And that's why one of the reasons why that book was established. But it was also to shine the spotlight on the message synergy. True synergy true synergy work. When you're working collectively for a good cause, you're
Yeah.
going to get exposure to so many different opportunities. And that's what I want to show you all versus constantly talking about it. I wanted to show it to you real time. So Precious, look, let's jump back into your interview.
Okay.
Everything has not always been, even though you shared a lot about your childhood, how much you were able to get through some, life challenges. But I want to get a little deeper in that with you. What are
Yeah.
some of those life challenges that kind of led you to real estate and all the other things you've done?
Well, you know, basically after high school, I turned 18 and I've always worked. From a young age, since 12, I've been working. I had jobs, summer jobs. I would work at the banks and this and that. My mom always told me, hey, when you turn 18, you gotta be on your own, and she meant that. So, what happened, I turned 18, graduated high school, kind of had to start making my way. My aunt took me in. I love her so much. My aunt Phyllis, she's always been there and supported me through my entire life. And she gave me a room, and I was working at the bank, and everything was good. And then they were going to be moving to a new place, and unfortunately, there was no space for me. So I had to figure something out. I mean, I was making maybe $15 an hour. I was working at MCI Telecom back in the day. That's how. And I was so I didn't know what to do. I didn't have enough money for my down payment on an apartment. I didn't have enough for the first month. It was like even I'd have to be working, for a minute to even save the money. And I just didn't have enough time to do that. I had nowhere else to go. So ironically, my boyfriend at the time and we were walking down Pier 39, like I said, from San Francisco, and these people stopped us and were like, "Oh, can you ask us some questions?" Long story short, it ended up being a commercial for Marshalls, and I started getting all these checks in the mail. I got like a lot of money. It was probably like over 10 grand, right? And so my birthday, me and my mom's birthday are a day apart, and invited, I bought us an all-inclusive trip to Jamaica, round trip, airline, everything. I'm like, Mom, I got this money. I'm going to treat us. We're going to go to Jamaica. My godmother has always been in the entertainment and promotion and marketing industry. And there was the Jamaican Film Music Festival going on there. So we get there. Jamaica's gorgeous. We're there with all these Black celebrities. We're filming short films and we're just having a great time. But Jamaica changed my life because experiencing the Jamaican culture, they're very free, open. Long story short, someone that I knew was like, "Oh, I know this girl who's making like $500 a night," and da 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 da. So after going to Jamaica and seeing those people grinding in the club and bathing naked in the ocean, streams and all that, I was like, okay, nudity is not a big thing, right? So long story short, I became an exotic dancer, and that is how I prevented homelessness. Ultimately, that was a means to an end for me. This was before it was cool. This was before it was glorified. This was before cell phones, thank God. And ultimately, that is how I was able to survive, right? And up until I got pregnant with my daughter, um, that was never supposed to be my forever. I've always worked. It was a means to an end, but obviously, when you're making that kind of money, I mean, some nights I make $5,000 a night, so it's hard to get out of that. But the blessing, God is so amazing. Like I said, when I got pregnant with my daughter, I'm like, I am definitely not doing this. I don't want my child around this industry. This sounds with a lot of demons, a lot of devil energy in that industry, and it's just very, not a good place, right? So ultimately, like I said, I've always worked, so I had success with job fairs all my life. So that's what I do. I have temp agencies. I always kept work because they knew I was a good worker and I would show up and do the thing. So went to this job fair. I'm a bright person. You see, I love bright color. I show up, I have on like green. Everybody else in that room had on a black blazer and a blue tie with a white shirt, and they were all white men. Okay. But guess what? My God, I walked in the room. I said, I'm here for a purpose. And I showed up, and, they have all the hiring managers there. So I went around and introduced myself. And that man, actually, he's like, "Oh, have you ever sold anything?" And I said, "Well, I sold a pair of dirty drawers. I think I can sell anything." This is what I told him. He hired me on the spot. That was my loan officer job. Within 2 months, I made $13,000 selling mortgages, and God showed me I don't have to do anything strange to get ahead. And
And how
that
old were you then? How old
I
were you
was
then?
I was 21.
Okay, I want to pause, guys, and I want my community out there to hear this transparent story. I want you to hear how she overcame challenges. I want you to hear how hard she worked to take care of herself. Okay, before she even had any children. Okay. And then now it's taking it to the next level as she raised her family. Oh my God. This is just one of those stories that, you get blessed to hear, because people think, life has always been easy for people, and it has not. Okay, it has not been easy for people, and people think that you can just, take your time and go out there and make it happen when it happened. No, boo boo. This young lady made it happen when she was in her teens. Okay, so I want y'all to say, especially the next generation, there's no excuses anymore for anything. Go out there, make it happen. We're going to go into another segment of our program, and this is going to be a little new segment, guys. So I want y'all to bear with me. Precious, we're going to come back and ask you some more questions. But let me just, thank some of the people who are here on the podcast show. I want to thank. We got some great people in the green room. I want to thank Tio, who's in the green room. I want to thank Shayla, who's in the green room. I want to thank Latifa, who's in the green room. I want to thank, I had a couple other people back there, but I want to thank all of you all who are in the green room, because I'm going to bring you on screen now. I don't know why my light just changed, but I'm going to bring you on screen. And I want you all to basically just give me your name, the name of your company, because I'm going to call you going forward Rosa's supporters, your supporters of the Sharon Lee Briefing podcast show. Again, I want you to give me your name, give me your business name, and I want to thank you. And then we're going to jump back into the interview. So, Chris, if you could bring my supporters in on screen and say hi to Precious for sure.
Hi.
You can bring them all in. You can bring everyone in. Yes. And guys, don't be afraid. Cut your camera on, cut your mic on, so that we can definitely hear you congratulating Precious and also telling us a little bit about who you are. Latifa, can you hear me? I can see you, but I can't hear you. I think we lost T.O. Shayla, can you hear me? Come on, guys. We're doing something special on the show now. You got to show up. You got to show up. T.O., can you hear me? T.O.'s having some connectivity issues, because I know he would be saying something. All right, until we can get our mics working, Chris, let's take them off screen, and when y'all ready, just leave me a comment in the private chat to say I'm ready. Now, here's Shayla. Okay, cool. Hi, Shayla.
Hi, cousin.
Okay, hi, it's Latifa. Hello.
Hi, cousin.
How you doing?
Good.
So I want you to give me the name of your company and, of course, your first and your last name.
Okay, well, my first and last name is Shayla Cannon, and my company name is Moxie Allure. Um, I basically do hair. I'm a hairstylist. So, yeah, that's really what I do right now. I
Well,
do want to look into real estate. That's what I'm really trying to do, too. I'm trying to do hair and real estate. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Look, you don't just inspire the next generation.
I know someone asked in the chat, what advice would I give to someone who's interested in
Yeah,
getting
and we're gonna share that as well. So
Yes.
Latifa, tell us about who you are.
Hi, everybody. I'm making it a little fast because I am at work, but I'm Latifa Cannon. I have a up and coming company called Fun Sick Kids. Just in the name, is dealing with children. We do field trips, tours, and activities.
Ooh,
I love it. Thank you, and welcome as our supporter on the Sharon Lee Briefing podcast show. I'm so impressed with you. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
All right, so let's bring up that question. Someone asked Precious a great question, and we're going to bring that up. Thank you, Chris. What advice would you give to someone who's interested in getting into the real estate business? Karen, thank you, Karen, for that question.
Yes, thank you, Karen. That's a great question. I would say you need to align yourself or find a mentor. Someone like myself who's already established or experienced and knowledgeable, who can kind of give you some industry insight and give you some guidance to help you kind of focus on what's important, right? And what that is really just connecting with people. At the end of the day, relationships are one of the driving factors of the real estate business. Connecting with people, having conversations. On the backside, it's moving that needle, knowing the process and how to get people from A to Z, right? And how to navigate obstacles and solve problems. So I would highly recommend anyone who's interested in real estate, if you really want to do this, you definitely have to have alligator skin, right? You kind of have to take no out of your vocabulary, um, and just focus on serving people. But to get started, to pass the test, people call me all the time. I tell them, if you're not familiar with the terminology, study the vocabulary words so that you understand the context of the questions that they're asking you on the test. But yeah, that would be my advice. Just align yourself with winners who are open and transparent to teach you what they know. That is cheat code.
So Precious, you just obtained a certain status at real estate in your real estate company. Tell us about what that is and what that means to us.
Well, what status do you mean? So
So
currently,
you reached that number, that 1 million number.
oh, no, 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 no. So that is not a necessarily true representation of all the numbers that I put up. I was recognized by NARAB, which is my realtist family, as one of the top 100 individuals. And I think last year, well, yeah, was it last year? Yeah, I think I did a little over 6 million in sales, which is kind of a light year, honestly, here in California. But it just feels good to be recognized, right? Because I don't do this, But to answer your question, I currently am the first vice president of the Women's Council of the ARPB here out of the East Bay. And just like 2 weeks ago, I have also been installed as the assistant secretary for KRAP, which is our state organization. We are a realtist group. All about diversity in housing, and we are focused on building, protecting, and preserving Black wealth in our communities. And we are realtists because we could not do real estate back in the day. It was illegal with all the Jim Crow and the redlining and the things like that. And that is how our association was birthed. To create, democracy in housing. And a lot of the HUD initiatives that are in place were spearheaded by our organization. So it feels overwhelmingly good to be a part of this organization with the rich history and the deep roots that we have, for creating opportunities for our community in housing and ownership and development and anything around housing and real estate. And I'm just blown up. It's like such a blessing every time I get with this group. Truly amazing, truly amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. You really made my day because sometimes, people may think, why do we have to always be talking about black this, black that, black this, black that? Well, guess what? We're black.
Yeah.
Okay. And even though we work and we collaborate with everybody, every nationality, every age group, we are one of the peoples or cultures out there that's I think are suffering a little bit more than others, right? Every time there's a setback in America, it impacts us more. Every time the government shut down, it hurts us more. Every time the housing crisis happened, it hurts us more, right? Every time when we have a pandemic like COVID, it hurts us more. So even though we're chasing to catch up, every catastrophe just sets us back more. And people don't, I don't know if, those, and I'm not just talking, non-blacks, I'm talking everybody, don't
Yeah.
understand how that impacts our next generation. Our
Yes.
next generation it's hard for them to catch up or even to get to the level where they
Yes.
need to be if their parents and grandparents keep on getting set back. And there's no getting around that. So to
Yeah.
have you be a legacy, a young up and coming, not up and coming here, next
Mhm.
generation legacy seeker and builder, you've made my day. And this is one of the reasons for the Sharon Lee Briefing Podcast Show, to inspire others to, be like you. And as Dr. Kane says, she loved your story. Your story is real. It is
It is.
real. So many people have gone through so much over their life, and half of them haven't even told their story. You just see them as the professional people they are today, but you don't know what they've gone through over the years. So I want to know, when is your book coming out? When is your first book coming out?
I mean, honestly, I appreciate you allowing me this platform because a lot of people have been telling me I should share my story. And this is my first time that I've shared with the world, kind of like how this all began. And I think it is important for me to be transparent because I own and live in my truth every day. Like, I know who I am, I don't have any regrets in my life. And everything that I've been through has gotten me to this point. Resilience that, like you said, that little girl who, no matter what, I always kept a smile because when I get focused on something, nothing can stop me. I don't care what happens in my life, in the world, on the news, with the COVID, it doesn't matter because God is in charge of my life and I know who I am and I know whose I am. And I know with my faith and I'm going out here doing good to people that I will be blessed. And so my whole thing is like, I want us all to win. I want us all to get ahead. And I know through real estate, that is how we can truly build real tangible wealth. So I could tell people I'm trying to help you build a portfolio, 10 homes, not just one house. And I tell people you got to get a trust, you have to get life insurance, you need to get an investment account. And I'm teaching people how to create trust fund babies, not just selling people a house. And so for me, like literally every time I give keys, I know I'm changing a whole like bloodline essentially for some of these people. And I get people who thank me like Precious because some of these people are scared. I swear to God, I know I meet certain people. I'm like, you have a good job, you have the credit. Why don't you own a home? You're renting here. You're paying someone else's mortgage. Like, let me show you how you can do this for yourself. And they're like, okay. They trust me and I give them the keys. I have people call me now, Precious. I'm so thankful that you helped me and you showed me the way. If it wasn't for you, I don't know what I would be doing. And that is like the reason I keep going because this work is not easy, especially trying to. A lot of our community has a mindset problem. We've been so conditioned by design, like you said, our community always, because people have to understand this is by design. This podcast, us coming together, us working together, the devil wants to come and divide and separate. And we have more power when we come together. And that is another reason why I love the organization NARAB and KRAB and ARPB, because Black people are working together, professional people working together. It is an example of what we should be all doing,
And
right?
I see that. I see that so clearly. So to our attendees, those who are watching, one thing that I'm getting, and I'm getting so many things from Precious on so many levels,
Mhm.
but one thing I'm getting about from her that really should touch home to everyone that's listening and everyone that will watch this even later. We have to make it about community. We have to make it about unity. We have to be able to give and not take, especially when people currently don't have. What I'm hearing Precious say is that she's educating people on how to fish, okay? Not to, she's educating them on how to fish. And once they begin to fish, then they can educate someone else. And
Yeah.
she's not taking from them, she's
No.
giving to them. So for the speakers and the coaches and the authors and everyone who think people walking around with $4,000 or $5,000 to give to this and give to that, people don't have that today. They need to live. Okay, so we got to teach them how to fish, guys. We got to
Yeah.
give them the knowledge. We got to show them, take them by the hand and show them what needs to be done, like President is doing, and then build that legacy. So look, even though I just gave a commercial, I got to really pay some bills. Okay. So what I would like to do is have our engineer bring up one of our key supporters who's been with me for years now, but she has jumped on this Sharon Lee Briefing podcast show platform, and I just want to share her story. And then, Precious, I want to ask you, I want to build that synergy between you and her. So I'm going to ask you a question. So, Chris, if you could bring up our supporters flyers so that I can share what we're going to be doing to support her. All right. So this book here The AI toolkit for teachers made easy, 10 simple strategies to save time, personalize learning, and empower every student to succeed.
Mhm.
Dr. Hattie in Washington. She's a mentor of mine. She's been a mentor of mine since 2017. The reason why the synergy connected with Dr. Hattie and myself is because of my mother. My mother's mother name was Hattie Parker. I never met her a day in my life. She passed away before I was born, but people told me that I resembled the characteristics of my grandmother because my grandmother used to help everybody in the community and she was an entrepreneur. So that's what drove me to meet Dr. Hattie. But I met her at a dear friend house at Frances Luckett house. I met her in Maryland where she was doing a book event. So Frances, if you're watching, I hope you're watching. I just want to say thank you for this wonderful synergy connection. This woman now who lives in Florida, she used to live here in Maryland, is taking this book around the country, teaching people about the importance of learning AI. We're not trying to get people to not think. We're not trying to get people to not use their skills. But if you can use tools to help you get some words out you need, there's certain tools for that. Gemini, I understand on Google. Now my son is a Gemini, so when I heard Gemini Google, really, let me figure that one out. So I want to learn about that. But I want to ask, you can bring the other flyer up as well, Chris, of Dr. Hattie. She's going to be speaking. Okay. She's going to be going to Indianapolis to speak in front of 450 students and professionals at this university. And she's going to be the keynote speaker there. And she's going to be sharing her story on how she became a AI, basically consultant, which drove her to write her book. So I want y'all to understand that this supporter who decided to say, you know what, I want to get on the Sharon Lee Briefing podcast show to let the world know what I'm doing, because Sharon is a mentee of mine. Sharon is, when she calls me, I'm going to be there for her because I have been there for her. So I just want to share this flyer. I want y'all to go on Instagram, go on Facebook, find this lady, stay connected with her because she's going to be doing some phenomenal things. Thank you, Chris, for sharing that. I really, really appreciate that. So back to you, Precious. How do you think AI is benefiting us or hurting us?
I think it's a valuable tool. I use it every day. I use it in my business. Starting to teach my children how to use it as a resource. I highly believe we shouldn't rely all the way on technology, but it is a tool, and it's can save you time, energy, effort. If you're looking up things, if you, and I think as time progresses, you do kind of need to stay up to date with kind of what things are going. I think we're getting too far into technology. We're staring at our phones a lot. So I think it is great, but also we got to get back to real human connection too, right? I
Yes.
don't want that AI to take over the real connection, the real intelligence, right?
I love that. I love that. Thank you, honey. That was good. That was good. Look, I want you to be able to put in the comments on how people can connect with you on social media because you're rocking and rolling over there. But I got to tell you, you are a very, very smart person, and you're so smart to the point where you gave me talking points for your podcast.
Oh,
And I'm like, wait a minute, did she just write me a book on what she wanted me to ask her?
I didn't, this is my first time. I wasn't sure if I needed to have my own. I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, well, just in case, I like to be prepared. I'm like, okay, they
No,
asked me.
you look, guys. Let me tell you something. I loved it so much that I said, I'm going to share with people what she asked me. And I know we can't cover all this right now, but I want y'all to know how this young lady was thinking. She said, Sharon, ask me about my early life and defining moments. Ask me about my turning points and how life, led, me to real estate, and then the growth and the grit and the lesson along the way. And then she's like, don't forget to ask about my purpose and faith in the bigger picture. What's going on? I want to tell it all. I said, I so love her. I so love
Yes.
everything about you. And then, guys, just to make it even sweeter, she got individual questions for each one of those highlights. So I want to make sure though that I asked you something that's very, very profound to you. Um, and I think you may have touched on it a little bit, but I want to really ask it in a way where you can just bring more out. But it was what did the transition look like for you when you transitioned from the dancing to the working hard? What did it look like for you mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually? Because people want to know the challenges, but they also want to know, well, how did that, what did it do to you as you were going through those transitions?
From that industry into real estate, I'm going to say God. So I was exposed to the science of mind, spiritual practices in high school. And those spiritual practices and teachings have changed my life forever. It just teaches you how to navigate the world as a spiritual person, to be able to, again, stay still within your spirit and deal with things. So, um, the thing about me, like I said, prior to getting into the entertainment industry, I had been working since I was 12 years old. I also
Mm,
note that my mother has been an entrepreneur my entire life. She was my first example of an entrepreneur, of a Black businesswoman. She showed me how to make something out of nothing. We used to sell incense and oils in the Safeway. That went to her having a stand in the flea market. That went to her owning that business where you met us that day when you came off the bar. My mother had two businesses in downtown Oakland, and I used to run those businesses as a teenager.
mm,
So when you asked me about that transition, it wasn't, I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew I wasn't going to be doing that anymore. Right. I didn't
okay.
know, real estate wasn't even something on my radar. Right. I just knew that I had skills. Again, I've been running businesses with my mother. I had tech jobs and all that. So I just was like, I have to get a job, something outside of this. And like I said, I've always had temp agencies. And job fair, I always get hired, because I have skills.
Right.
And so yeah, it was just like, I don't know what's next, but I prayed to God and I just said, I know God is going to cover me and protect me, because he always has. I've never not had what I needed when I needed it.
See,
you
now
know
that right there, that statement right there, you never not had what you needed. So, guys, I want y'all to pay attention to this, especially the next generation. And
Mhm.
Precious, I'm going to ask you a part two to that question. The next generation, listen to how young she was when she started. Listen to what, even though, her mom had her own business and she was entrepreneurs, Precious ran the shops.
Mhm.
Listen to the fact that even though she was going to school, graduating from high school, going on to college, getting her master's in business administration, getting her real estate
Well,
license.
this is after actually, but yes, like
Thank you. And that's the point. It was a pathway, right? And it
Mhm.
was after all of this, but she was disciplined enough to know that if she did not want to stay where she was in life, she had to make some moves. And those fundamental moves, like, working hard, being committed, being disciplined, getting her education, getting her higher education, getting her, trade skills, getting a profession. She did all of that. And I'm not going to tell you how old she is, but this is a baby to me. Okay. And she did this when she wasn't really, really a baby. All right. So I want
Mhm.
to inspire you all, the next generations. Please do what our ancestors taught us years ago. I am a baby boomer. I
Uh,
was born in the 60s. Okay. My ancestors, for the traditionals who were born in the 40s and the 50s, they were always told to work harder than anyone else to show yourself achieved. You
mhm.
have to work hard. You can't, there's no getting around it. You got to work hard in school. You got to work hard in your community, and you got to work hard in your business. There's no exception.
No.
Okay. Time is not on anyone's side. All right. Especially in these crazy times that we're living in today. So I'm going to preach again, but Precious, the second part of that question to you is, how important was it for you to get that education that you have?
And I'll say this, right? Transitioning into real estate, again, I always had the jobs, got the job. It opened my eyes to see, again, I was the top producer when I started doing loans. And again, selling $2-3 million in loans a month. The market crashed. And then I moved to Southern California with my dad. And again, I always had experience getting temp jobs, right? They hired me on the spot. So I got a job working in higher education as a financial aid advisor. And because I worked for the university, you get a tuition discount. At that time, I only had a high school diploma. Mind you, I had done the thing, I had done the loans, the market crashed out, and I was out of real estate completely. This is 2006. I started doing financial aid, worked myself up to financial aid advisor, moved back to the Bay Area. Then I worked myself up to the director of financial aid. I was actually running the college and the university with other directors, but I got my bachelor's degree and then I got 2 master's degrees. And the reason was, as a Black woman in corporate America, I dealt with so much microaggression, so much micro racism. I had all the degrees, I had all the experience, but could never get the promotion, had to tiptoe around these, fragile white women who were intimidated by my beauty and whatever else my presence brought out in them. And basically what happened was this: I had been working at Hill College 4 or 5 years, no problems. Everything's going great. My manager stepped down. They hired this white woman from some place, I don't know where. Soon as she came in, she started harassing me, started complaining on me, ultimately got me fired from this job I had been working so hard to build myself up for, getting these degrees, to have the education to promote myself, for this person to literally come in and rob me of what I was working towards. And it shattered me. And that is when I started my notary business. And I said, I will never, ever put myself in a position to let anyone have the power to tear down what I'm building. And that is why I push ownership and businesses to everybody that I talk to, especially as a Black person in America. They do not want us to do better than them. They do not want us to succeed, and they're not coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. That is the reason why I got back into real estate, because I knew this was my end game, and this is how I can create real wealth for myself, for my community, and something that no one can take away from me.
Drop the mic on that one, guys. Drop the mic on that. I know it's not happening in our time today. I know no one is blocking us from getting good jobs and and holding our children back. I know that's not happening in 2025, right, guys? I mean, it's not happening in your community. It's not happening next door to you. It's not happening even in your home, that your children and your grandchildren are being held back because someone is intimidated behind their skills. That's not happening in America in 2025. But if it is, I want you all to say to yourselves, let me teach my children, my grandchildren, how important it is to never, ever, ever forget history. Like Ms. Parker has been saying since 2008, when we established ROSA, which means remembering our ancestors' synergistic association. If you did not understand why ROSA was established back then in 2008, I bet you understand it now.
That's right.
Because history will repeat itself. But at the end of the day, we are we are God people, and we've gone through challenges over and over again. And it's nothing we cannot and will not ever be able to overcome. Precious, I am so happy. We were 1 minute over, but I'm going to stay a little longer because I just want people to know how powerful this interview is, especially for the next generation. But Chris, if you could share that legacy gift again for Precious, because I want her to go out seeing her journey and seeing how much we are so happy for her and proud of her. So Chris, if you could share that again. Thank you, Chris. I hope y'all know the Synergy girl. She was walking, then she was running, then she was skipping, then she was flipping. Okay. That's
Yes.
how we got to do in life, guys. We got to walk, run, skip, flip our way through all of these unfortunate opportunities, things that's happening in the world today. But I just want to thank Miss Frances Luckett Hunter for being here. This is another community supporter who definitely got my back and has had my back for a long time. She is loving your interview, Precious.
I
She is,
appreciate
she
that.
is totally loving it. I want to thank again. I think this is Karen. I'm not sure.
Yes, thank you, Karen. Thank you.
I want
I
to
just
thank
want to say
Karen.
the work is not done. I am literally still just getting started. All of the things that I've done, my next chapter is my dream is to build communities and provide affordable housing and education to the residents with a home ownership piece to help them leave that community and get into ownership. So when I
We're going
get
to
to
be right there with you. We're going to be
yes,
right there with you. I want to thank Dr. Kane for joining. I want to thank Latifah, and I want to thank Shayla. I want to thank Tio. I wish we could have got you in the back room, Tio, but I think you were having some difficulties. I want to thank your auntie. Say hi to your auntie,
Auntie,
Teresa, for being here from
I
in
love you
Washington,
guys.
D.C., giving you a shout out, supporting
Cousins,
you. I want
Jamie
to
and
thank
Karen.
Jamie. Thank you
Yes.
for definitely coming up and sharing. And I also want to get Chris to play the legacy Synergy Girl video again before we go, and then we're going to go out with our theme song. But Precious, I want you to stay behind the scenes because we're going to do a group little photo in the green room. All right,
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for this platform and the decades of work that you've been doing for our ancestors and Synergy and connecting us. I'm so honored to be a guest. Like, this is amazing, and I'm continue your work and everything that you do. I want to shout you out for putting this together, doing this for your community. As long as I can remember Rosa, I remember Rosa, and just always being one of my favorite East Coast aunties. And this is a full circle moment. Like, we're family, and I'm on your
yes.
show. Like, I'm going to be crying after this podcast.
Well, you deserve it, my love. You totally deserve it. Guys, I want y'all, if you all definitely want to be a part of what Precious is doing, because we're definitely going to stay here, please, contact her by email and everything. This is the real deal here, guys. She is the real deal. Okay, no faking. If she says she's going to do something, it's done, and she knows how to do it. Okay, believe that. So just keep that in mind. But Chris, if you could definitely, Chris, I think before we go, I just want to show Tio's comment. Great story. Thanks for sharing. Thanks, Tio. We wish we could have got you in the back room again, but this is really what it's all about. So, Chris, if you could share our video again and then take us out with our theme song, we will be good. Guys, come back on the 21st of this month. We're going to have our third podcast guest, which is Dr. Hattie in Washington. She's going to be here on the 21st of November. You do not want to miss her story. She's going to have a lot to share about her legacy with STEM and speaking to educators all over the country.
Awesome.
Legends are reaching me, sharing knowledge with you and me, teaching us how to lead with Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee, on the run. Sharon Lee, on the run. on guilt and